Hi everyone, how are you doing? I hope you've had a good week, and the best thing is that tomorrow is actually Friday. My week's not been too bad, it's been quite busy as always, but I think if you're a business owner now, busy is just an overused word in your vocabulary. So that's what I'm calling. In fact, I've been thinking I should remove it from my vocabulary because it just seems like that's what I'm always saying. All right. So anyway, before we go on and look at other aspects of increasing sales, this week on Monday, I did a post on my Instagram and I called it "Make It Count," and I gave 2 tips for B2B, so if you're business to business, and 2 tips for B2C if you're business to consumer business. So the first one, the B2B, I suggested that you offer introductory rate for new customers. I also said review existing customers and then upsell to other services, upsell other services. All right, so that was for the B2B. So basically here what I'm saying is that, you may have new customers coming in and you may just decide to offer them a slightly lower rate than the normal times you would for the services that you're offering. If your service is a subscription or a renewal or a retainer for your existing customers, if it's due for renewal, you may want to do a slight reduction or a reduction for them so that they renew with you. So that's just, remember we're trying to improve our sales, so we're looking at strategies that we can do to do that. And then reviewing your existing customer and upselling to the other services, meaning that maybe you are selling one aspect of your service, but there are other aspects that you can actually upsell to the customer. And really, for upselling to work, you kind of have to really engage the customer and talk to them and find out what their current challenges are so that you know which of the other services or that you want to sell to them. All right, so then we move on to the B2C, and I said run a promotion on slow moving products, at least 15 to 20% off. This is because research has shown that when you give something around the 15% mark, people see it more than sometimes the 10%, 5% discounts that we give. Even in salary increases, it's found that 15% salary increases are a bit more welcomed than when it's like 3%, 4%, 5%. So 15%, remember, it's 15-20% or even more, because these are your slow moving products, and if you're not careful you may not be able to sell them. So really you're just reducing to not make a total loss on these slow moving products. So that was the suggestion there. And then the last one for B2C was sell slow moving products in bundles with fast moving products, e.g. buy a set, save a certain amount of money. And this is a really good idea because I actually tried this, by the way. Some of these things I'm telling you, I've actually tried it, and it worked, the actual slow moving with the fast moving, and then giving the savings. So I had some stuff in my retail shop that weren't really moving as much, so I decided to do bundles, so complement them with other fast moving things. And then when you bought the bundle, you could get some, I put the slow moving stuff at a lower rate. So I remember I did up to 50% discount, because I just want to clear, remember in retail, the more we keep things, we are losing money. Like, we need to get rid of the inventory. So if we know that we're going to make a loss, it's best you just try and collect in as far as possible at least what you paid for, and then just move on. So I reduced it up to about 50%, and actually I did manage to shift quite a bit of those products. So it's really worth considering combining slow and fast moving products together. So anyway, my question is, I want to know in the comments, all right, how many of you actually tried any of these suggestions? It's very important. What am I saying? There's a lot of information out there, whether you Google, when you go to YouTube, or the social platforms, you have some of us sharing information, etc. And I just think that, if you take the time to sit and listen to a video, you need to be doing it for a reason. Like, you're looking for information, you're looking for motivation, there'll be a reason for it. Whatever the reason is, at the end of it, you've got to try and take some action, because otherwise you're just going to be finding that you're just watching lots and lots of video but you're not taking any action. So for me, I want to encourage you to at least try and just come back and feedback to me, like, oh, you know, this worked, it didn't work, or, you know, you can DM me if you don't want to put it in the comments. But I think really now, you know, you have to try things. You have to try things before you say, oh no, it's not working. And I want to encourage you, because I actually, trust me, I know that if you try some of these things, you will get results. So, and I want you to come back and tell me you did, so that I can clap for myself. I'm just kidding. All right, okay. So let's move on and look at this whole sales aspect. All right, so I told you last time that there are 4 areas of recovery: sales, finance, systems, and people. And we're going to start with sales and then move on to finance, because these really affect the bottom line, and then we'll move on to systems and people, which is really your workers. So now, when we talk about sales, we know that sales has been affected. We know that the key ones is that there's customer demand has gone down, or your sales has had a reduction, or your distribution channel is affected. So you now are having challenges with sales, and if your demand is down, or your sales are down, and your distribution channels are also affected, it's going to have an impact on your revenue, the money you make. So that's a real headache for all of us in business. I mean, as I said, I'm in the retail side, and you know, retail right now, if it's not essential retail, is very slow. I'm finding it very slow in my retail e-commerce business. So I understand if you're in a retail, and even some services are having a lot of issues. The whole idea of the sales is a big deal for us. So you've got to look at different things. And then also the other challenge we're having is that, you know, the uncertainty makes it very, very difficult to respond, because in one of my videos I was saying, you just think you've made a decision here, or you've taken an action here, and then the next minute another problem has come. So that's quite a challenge as well when you're making decisions. But that's just with the times, you know. In terms of business continuity, is going to be like that. But recovery, it's kind of coexisting. You're surviving, you're going on, but then you're also planning for what you're going to need in the future, like in terms of recovery. So I know that's very difficult, and I also know that sometimes the challenges can overtake the business, but at the same time I also know firsthand with clients that businesses can also overtake the challenges. So let's not focus on just the challenge. Let's now begin to really focus on possible solutions to help us to increase sales. And like I said last time in my video, on my YouTube channel, I had done a whole video on cost cutting and ways to do it and things like that during the pandemic. You may want to watch that video, because it's a little bit more in detail about some of these areas. I'm going to try and focus on the other areas that I think are very important here. And I've noted some down because I don't want to forget. All right, I'm sorry if you're kind of used to watching people who don't look at their notes, but I don't want to forget what I want to talk to you about. So I've put notes. And then also right now I have to tell you, my head is like melon. You know, information is not staying in. I'm forgetting things. The pressure is real. So, you know, where I don't need notes, I won't have notes. But where I need notes, I'm just giving you advance notice. I'll look at my notes, because you also want me to tell you the right things and not be telling you the wrong things. All right, so I'm just saying, in case you're thinking, why does she keep looking over there? That's why. Nothing is staying here. Like, it stays here for 2 minutes and then I'm forgotten. The pressure is real. Oh, the pressure is real. You know, it's not easy. Now, also as a consultant, you are going through as a business owner, and then you're also supporting your customers to go through. I'm having double portions of it, so do forgive me. All right, today, dear, it's quite hard to keep things in my head, so forgive me for today. Okay, so what else am I saying? You know, if we're going to solve problem, we need to find problem, and here we're saying that the problem we have is our sales. All right, and I want you to approach how you're going to improve your sales with the mindset of flexibility, because if you don't go with a flexibility and you try to do what you know and what you've always been doing, it's going to be very difficult, because the situation is warranting for us to try to have an open mind and also to try different things. So you really need to exercise some flexibility. So that means you got to think about how you're going to get your product or service produced faster, or get your service or your product to customers faster. You need to think about things like possible new products. You've got to look at possibly looking at other distribution channels. You've got to think about building your capacity to be able to accommodate all these changes. So you need to have a flexible mind. All right. Okay. So now let's move on and look at some of the things. Now, I'm not going to talk about the usual things we know about. I want to expand on key areas on sales. So this will not be the only video on sales, but today I'm going to talk about these specific things as a starting point. So number one, you need to start by looking at pricing. All right. When things, even though we know we're in a crisis, customers are very sensitive to price right now. They really are, because people are prioritizing the essential things they need. So if, like me, you're selling luxury items or things that people can kind of do without right now, you need to look at how you're pricing and how you're getting the items to your customers. So your pricing have to be looked at, and I will do a session because I get asked that question a lot, because I do a lot of work on pricing. I get asked a lot, how do you price? Because people are pricing, doing all kinds of things. They are overpricing, they are underpricing, they're doing all kinds of things. You need to price right, and pricing is something you should really take the time to understand, because it can make a real difference in terms of you selling your product. So start by reviewing your pricing. Can you reduce your items? Are your pricing, if you're in services, are you charging right? Is it too high? And also, even if your pricing is right for your industry or for the business you're in, are you taking into account COVID? The fact that COVID is here, people don't have a lot of money. So, and people are very conscious of money. People are conserving money. So do you need to look at your price? It may not be for every service or every product you sell, but it may be for some that you know that actually, you know what, we can work on the pricing on these particular services or these particular products. So that's the first thing. The second thing is leveraging. You've got to leverage on other aspects of your business. So maybe COVID has gotten you to rethink your model, all right? And so how can you leverage? What has it opened up for you? So for example, you may have been a restaurant and you were a sit-in restaurant. People just come and eat at your restaurant. But right now you realize that actually people don't want to come and sit in restaurants, but they want to order food. So you're going to leverage off that and start offering to be able to send them food at home so they can order from you and you bring it to them. That's leveraging, all right? Maybe you were a courier company, and before the crisis hit, you were mainly working with corporate organizations, delivering letters and doing corporate courier type service. But now in a crisis, you realize the e-commerce, people delivering products and things are also in demand. So now you've shifted to also provide courier services for businesses who provide products and services on the e-commerce front. So you're leveraging off the situation. You need to think about where in your business you can leverage, all right? Now, sometimes leveraging may not be in your business, but you can leverage with another person. And this is where we talk about collaboration or partnerships. Now, before we go into that, I just want to say, before you go into partnership with anybody, and that's another day. Please make sure this is somebody you trust, somebody you can have conversations with concerning the partnership. Please don't go into partnership with people whom you cannot have this conversation with. But you may want to consider that, collaborating with somebody else. I mean, in the past when I've collaborated with people, we've made sure that whatever we're collaborating on was quite obvious to the customer, so they will know that, okay, perhaps it's OML Africa plus this person, or it's Delilah's Secret plus this, so they know. And so therefore, when it came to payment, if you tell them, because we've collaborated, so you come and get your products from Delilah's Secret, and then you go and pick, people are fine with it. They just need to know that you've collaborated, so as they collect their items, they'll go to the relative company to do so. Why am I telling you this? Because this means that anxiety we have, that okay, maybe if the money comes to me, I may not give you your share, is removed, because the customer will come straight to you and pay you directly for whatever your part is in our collaboration, and the customer will come straight to me and pay me for whatever collaboration we have on. All right, it's just a matter of how we communicate this to the customer. So that's very important. But trust is very important in collaborations and partnership, and I guess maybe I can look at that a bit more in detail another day, but I'm just mentioning this is something to also look at. Maybe you can't leverage in your business, but you can leverage with somebody else, because maybe you sell shoes, they sell handbags, so maybe we'll come together and sell our shoes and handbags together to increase our chances of people buying. All right, the other point that I wanted to talk about is around your distribution channels. So maybe you just had a shop, that's where you were selling your things, your distribution, you're selling your items, or you were mainly doing maybe let's say if you're a training institution, maybe you were just training at your center. But now you need to look at other ways of selling, other channels to sell from. So if you are having a shop, now you're looking at e-commerce, I can sell online. And selling online, we have so many other channels on that as well, on your website, on your social handles like Instagram, Facebook. You can also do on the social communications like WhatsApp. There are apps now. And then of course you've got text messaging. And then of course you've got, even people are offering pick and drop, curbside pickups and drop-offs as well as part of their delivery, to say, because sometimes people are put off by delivery fees at the moment and stuff like that, but sometimes people want to pick their things up. Even when you're in e-commerce, you don't have a shop, so you're just trying to find different ways in which you can sell your items to your customer. It's very, very important. If you're in services, it may have been referrals, but now maybe you're going to have to do networks and try a different approach to just the usual one. So this is another thing, looking at different distributing channels to increase your sales inputs. All right. And then my last point that I want to make is regarding revamping your services or your product. I have actually done this and I've actually seen value in it. Okay, so there may have been some services that you were doing before, but now in COVID you probably have to revamp them because they're not relevant. They're just not relevant right now. People are just not into that particular service, so you need to look at it. You may also have products that you have to revamp, so maybe retake the pictures, make them much more clear. Maybe you have to create a scene to make the products pop out more, and then go back to sell it in the market, maybe revise the price. So revamping your services and your products is also very important, and it gives like a whole new look, a whole new version of the product or the service, and then market it, having a very good marketing strategy, and we'll get to that. So for this session is what I want to tell you about, that what you need to be doing is looking at your pricing, is looking at leveraging within your business, or partnership and collaborations to do the leveraging. This is all trying to increase your sales. And I'm also saying consider distribution channels, and then also revamping existing services and products. And the last one is being ready to also offer new products and new services. And you can't just get up and do this. You need to switch your customers through surveys, through questions, see what they are saying, check out your customers, see what they are liking and things like that. And then do your market research before you start introducing new products and services. That's why I said it may require a little bit of an engagement with your customers in order to give them what they want. All right, so I hope you found this useful. Do share in the comments. Really, I need you to talk to me. So do share your comments as to what strategies you've tried and you think are working for you, or if you have any additional questions, do DM me. And so this has been Business Talk. Thank you for listening. Bye.